It's a warm welcome from Grts, and wherever you may be, this is the news at 8. First, our headlines. The chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Alhaji Mustafa El Karayol, promises a free and fair presidential election. Dozens of Alhajis and Ajaratus jet into Banjul after fulfilling Islam's fifth pillar, the Hajj. Republican presidential hopeful and influential former governor Mitt Romney urges the U.S. to stop giving aid to Beijing, citing the over $180 billion trade deficit with China. And the Arab League purges Syria from its ranks and calls for sanctions against Damascus, this as the Assad regime continues its deadly crackdown on dissent. These and other stories coming ahead in this hour, and I'm Fatou Sane Sise. Thanks for joining us. Once again, welcome to the news. The Gambia's ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Omar Gabriel Saleh, has sent a condolence message to His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yaya Jammeh. The text of the message reads, I received with sadness news of the death of the late Madam Rimu El Hassadi Suma, mother to Her Excellency the First Lady, Madam Zainab Yaya Jammeh. Staff of the embassy join me in sending our most sincere condolences. Extend the same to Her Excellency Madam Zainab Yaya Jammeh. May Allah Almighty grant the departed soul eternal peace and give Your Excellency and the bereaved family the fortitude to bear the loss. Please accept, Your Excellency, the assurances of my highest consideration and esteem. It ends. The condolence message from Gambia Police Force signed by the Inspector General Yankuba Sonko reads, it is with deep regret and grief that the Office of the Inspector General of Police learned about the demise of His Excellency's mother-in-law and mother to Her Excellency the First Lady, Madam Zainab Yaya Jammeh, the late Madam Rimu El Hassadi Suma. The senior management and the entire Gambia Police Force join me in conveying heartfelt condolences and prayers for Allah to grant the departed soul eternal peace. May Almighty Allah grant you and the bereaved family the fortitude to bear the irreplaceable loss, the message concludes. Still on condolence messages addressed to Professor Jammeh, the Director General of the National Drug Enforcement Agency, Benedict Jammeh, writes, the Chairman of Board of Governors, members of the Governing Board, and staff of the NDA have asked me to convey their heartfelt condolences to you as well as the Jammeh and Suma families. Our thoughts are with you as you mourn Madam Rimu El Hassadi Suma. May Allah grant you the resilience to bear the loss of such an important personality and shower His blessings on her among His righteous servants in heaven, it concludes. The condolence message from the judiciary signed by the Chief Justice Emmanuel Ajim states, staff of the judiciary of the Gambia received news of the passing of the late Madam Rimu El Hassadi Suma, mother of Her Excellency the First Lady of the Republic of the Gambia, Madam Zainab Yaya Jammeh. With heavy hearts, we hereby wish to convey our deepest sympathy and heartfelt condolences to Your Excellency and our dear First Lady on your loss. We share the feeling of grief and loss of the first family rather. May Almighty God in His infinite mercy grant Your Excellency and our First Lady the courage to bear this loss, and may He grant the late Madam Rimu El Hassadi Suma everlasting peace and eternal rest. It ends. The chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission has used the opportunity provided by the opening of a two-day the trainer workshop on the election process to restate the Commission's commitment to conduct a credible election. Grts' Abu Kardabo was among Alhaji Mustafa El Karayol's audience, and he now tells us more.
24th presidential elections loom ever larger. The body tasked with elections and electioneering affairs in the country, the Independent Electoral Commission, is not resting on its laurels to mark the challenges of making this election the most democratic in the region. The Commission's most recent effort is the training of assistant returning officers, political party representatives, police commissioners, regional and liaison officers from across the country on internationally accepted rules, tenets and practices regarding elections conducting. Numbering over 182, these trainees are expected to embark on the training of 4,400 presiding and assistant presiding officers and polling and assistant polling officers across the country, starting on the 19th of this month. The Chief Electoral Officer IEC, Robert Anthony Secker, wasted no time to state that this training is just to refresh and catch up with the recent developments surrounding elections, since most of them are experienced when it comes to elections. He, however, discouraged complacency as a guarantee for efficiency, saying that there is no room for error, for the slightest error can be disastrous.
When I joined the commission, I came in with an attitude to learn. I was willing to make mistakes and to learn from my mistakes. That's positive. But in elections, there is no opportunity for that. It's on the spot. There is no room for error. One single token, and you could cause us all a lot of problems. There is no room for second chance. Nobody is going to be given a second chance because we will all not be given a second chance.
The chairman of the IEC, Alhaji Mustafa El Keriol, in a well-contained keynote address, harped on the significance of elections as an internationally recognized determinant to gauge the vibrancy of any democracy. He assertively pointed out integrity as the IEC's guiding principle and mantra, adding that so far as they exist, nothing will derail them from holding a free and fair election.
The IEC will ever concentrate on conducting free and fair elections. This, I believe, we will ever achieve by upholding governing principles such as respect for principles of electoral democracy, ethical conduct, accuracy, and transparency. Please note that these governing principles guarantee free and fair election as essential conditions for election uprightness. A free elections, on one hand, depends on freedom of speech, assembly, association, and movement, and freedom from fear. A fair election, on the other hand, depends on transparent electoral process, equitable electoral legislation and system, equal opportunities for all participants.
Chairman Keriol admonished the assistant returning officers to take the training seriously and employ all seriousness to get the best out of the exercise. He concluded by thanking the government for solely sponsoring the biometric voter registration and the upcoming elections, calling for the collaboration of every citizen to make the process a resounding success. It is a matter of weeks before Gambians move to the polls to choose their leader. What the IEC, however, appeals for is for Gambians to collaborate with the Commission by coming out in their numbers to cast their votes. Abubakar Tabo, GRTS.
The plane carrying the first batch of Gambian pilgrims, numbering 518, Friday evening touched down at the Banjul International Airport. The Alajis and Ajaratus, who were received by joyful relatives and well-wishers, said the spiritually rewarding but physically demanding journey was hitch-free. Momodu Lamin Sise picks up the rest of that story.
2000 hours Greenwich Mean Time on Friday, this big capacity flight carrying the first batch of Gambian pilgrims taxis at the Banjul International Airport. They departed early and they are arriving early. These pilgrims, numbering 518, are coming all the way from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where they perform the largest and biggest pilgrimage on earth. Their arrival, which is of course comparatively early, is a manifestation that the national carrier GIA, despite the monopoly it enjoys, is not taking anything for granted. Although looking exhausted apparently because of the long flight they undertook, the pilgrims were safe and sound. The ambience that greeted their arrival was great. Outside, hundreds of relatives, friends and well-wishers waited to reunite with the pilgrims after what was a month-long stay in the world's holiest place. This year's pilgrimage has been acclaimed to be unprecedented